For this video, we're just going to play with my stash. I have known people who keep their stash in their oven. Seriously. They keep it in their bathtubs and in their showers, at the bottom of their pantry that actually holds food, but they were in a hurry, so they just threw it in the bottom. Sometimes we keep it, and I've even done this, in tubs that aren't marked or in boxes or smashed on a shelf. So today we're going to talk about all the tips and tricks I've learned for all the different kinds of storage, and we're going to start with wool. I keep my wool stash in these white tubs. They are clearly labeled with their little labels. This one is yellow and orange, and I keep them so that whenever I want to do a wool project, it's very simple for me to go to the proper bins, get the colors I want, and pull my project together. I have a rule that I am only allowed to have as much wool as will fit in these bins. This is because I only want to own what I can take care of in the space that I have. I always use vertical space. These tubs are on top of my yardage storage, and they contain my minky. I realize that not all quilters have a minky stash, but I love them. They're right where I can reach them. They're not very heavy. I can lift them up and down. They're in colorways, and I don't label them because it's so obvious what's in them. So if you can see what's in your tub, you don't need to label it. The tubs keep all of my minky scraps safe and happy and ready for me to play with. This is how I keep my minky yardage. And I get my yardage by shopping at discount stores that sell really high quality blankets. So these are actually minky blankets. I hang the big ones. I have the small ones rolled up in those shelves that you saw, and I use them to put on the back of quilts. It's way less expensive. This shelf is where I keep my cotton backs that I put on my comfort quilts that I make. It is really nice because it's quick access. It holds yardage well. I don't like how piles could fall off the sides, but because there's so much yardage, it works wonderfully. And I appreciate that it holds weight. Now we get to play in my yardage, and I've had many comments online that I have too much fabric, or some people have just said they love how much fabric I have. So you might be in one of those camps. I'm just showing you that when I want to pull yardage for a quilt, I just pull it out and then I stick it back on top of the pile, and over the year it all gets muddled and messed up. So I'm going to show you how I decide how to fold my fabric, and you can choose for your shelving how to do it. So I'm measuring the shelf, and it's telling us it's 43 inches. Depending on your shelf size, you might have to do a little math. But I decide 5 stacks might be nice, so how many inches wide would those stacks need to be? And for me, that would be 8 inches, because 8 times 5 is 40, giving me 3 inches of flex in between the piles. So here on the floor, I'm measuring 8 inches, between 8 and 9 really, but more like 8, because that's how big for this cupboard I want to fold my yardage. And that's most of the yardage that I own. And I'm going to let you watch as I process through the blue yardage. I do this once a year, and you wouldn't have to. It wasn't terrible, as you saw, but because I muddle my yardage up every time I pull it out to use it, and I use a lot of fabric, I like once a year to fold my yardage, make sure it fits where it should, make sure it's within that 8-inch regulation, because I just want it to be nice once a year. I will try to explain how I fold without being too complicated. The yardage, the way it comes off the bolt, I'm going to call it the length, and that is what I work on to get to 8 inches. So you can see the selvage on the side there, and it doesn't matter how the folds go. I try to keep it even so that when I'm done, there's not a really chunkier side on one side than the other. I do it different every single time. All that really matters is that when it's folded to that point, it's 8 inches. And then I take where the selvage is and I just fold it in half, and that is what fits in my shelf. And it depends on your shelf, honestly. When you fold them to 6 inches, they fall over too easily for me, so I prefer that they're 8 inches or more, depending on what size shelf I'm using. I've had these shelves for quite a long time. I purchased them at a great deal on a great sale, and I love them because they have glass doors. They keep the dust off. I lived in a place that the sun came through, and when that happened, I made curtains on them and covered them. You don't want to keep your fabric where it has access to the sunshine all the time because it can damage it. As you watch, you're noticing that I'm putting my different blues with their colorways. The lights, the darks, the brights, the sweets. I'm just trying to find their little friend pile so that they can be happy. As I touch each piece of fabric, I just get the best ideas. It reacquaints me with my fabric. And I really think that is one of the reasons I love doing this once a year. It makes me feel the ownership of the different fabric. It makes me be able to touch all these colors, which are my palette of what I'm going to create with for the year. And as I touch them and play with them and fit them back in my shelf and make them look so beautiful, it just makes my heart happy. I love seeing what's there. As you fold your fabric and fit it back in the shelf, it fits better. And sometimes it leaves extra space. And so if you find a sale, you can remember that you have a little bit of space to buy a little bit more of a blue or a green or whatever the color is that you have made space for. My tip here is that you have as big of a stash as you want, as long as it is where you can access it, you can get to it, you can use it, you can play with it. It can be big stash or little stash. It's nobody's business but yours. If you're enjoying it and you're having fun with it and you're making beautiful things with it, it's the perfect stash for you. Starting with the teals and the greens, I'm going to show you all of my yardage. I have 3 of these big cabinets, and my rule is that my yardage must fit. So if I want to go shopping, then I've got to keep sewing because there has to be a spot for it. So you'll notice that all of my yardage fits. Here I have backings of blues. You saw the purples, the greens. On this corner is Christmas and Halloween and fall Thanksgiving. 30s fabrics, just one pile of them. And these sweets in the middle are just sweets. Here there's 2 that are Civil War stacks, and I love Civil War, so I always have that. And as you look at the whole cabinet, you can see that it holds a lot of yardage. I really believe that how much yardage you have is a personal thing, and if you're using it, then you own it and love it. I love neutrals, and neutrals just get used up at my house. I buy them all the time and replenish and replace. I love whites, I love creams, I love tans. I love them with colors in them. I don't have very many solid whites. I like low volume when I use a neutral. And then my yellows, and over on the end are more low volumes. Pinks, every hue, every color. And down at the bottom are my weirdo fabrics. I call them my weirdo fabrics. They're like stripes and dots and flowers that really don't go with anything. But I use them all the time. I pull them out and mix them in, and they actually work wonderfully. These cabinets used to be china cabinets. That's what they were designed for. They are so sturdy and so strong. At the 3rd cabinet, we start with beautiful reds, black and white, white and black, and then I have a pile of gray. It's okay if you want to organize yours in a different way than I do. Everybody's individual. The main principle is that you're able to reach your fabric, see your fabric, create with your fabric. The important thing is to come up with a fabric repository area in your home, a place that you can put all of your fabric so that you can access it, so that you can see it. So if you have it lost in your home, it's good if you can come up with a way to get it out so that you can be able to create with it and use it. When I first started quilting, I had a hard time using both browns and oranges. They were my least favorite colors to work with, and now I love both of them. I love all the colors. I think that quilting helps us love all of the colors. This bottom shelf, although it's the last, might be my very favorite. I love novelty prints. These are to make children's comfort quilts. I have them organized by theme, and I just really adore bugs. They have animal prints, little leopards and little whales. There isn't a category of novelty fabrics I don't love. And so this turns over all the time. When I find a good novelty print on sale, I buy it almost every time. I just really want to encourage you to get your stash in a way that you can enjoy it and that you can love it and that you can have peace when you see how beautiful it looks in your shelving. Enjoy your fabric, have fun with it, and be proud of how much you have. Stay merry and creative.